Hey, this is Tamatonga, Bullet Club Original OG Triple OG Triple, and you're listening to The Junkyard.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us for episode 5 of The Junkyard. Everybody who has left feedback and their comments and concerns, we greatly appreciate it. If you haven't already, we've done our predictions episode and our recap episode for Survivor Series, available on all the major platforms you get your audio podcast, and also video on YouTube. So give those a listen. Again, we won't be talking about any of the Survivor Series stuff that happened. That's all in those shows, but we will be talking about the fallout. So make sure to go check those out. As always, I'm Spencer Cantor, number 11. Boys, introduce yourselves.
I am Dennis Day Jr., otherwise known as DDJ, the host of What Do You Say with DDJ, and that drops every Monday at 12 a.m. as part of the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad.
Yeah, buddy.
Cheap pop.
Got to get that plug in. Got to give the people what they want.
Always.
Give them what they want.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am El Guapo Too Hotty, also known as Jovan Too Hotty. I am the fun part of the podcast, I guess you could say, the Junkyard.
Wow.
Maybe in your own mind.
I mean, maybe.
Did your mom tell you that?
You know what? She always did say I was special.
Yeah.
You're special in our eyes, El Guapo Too Hotty.
Oh.
But guys, let us just get into it. This is what happened this week in wrestling. All right, so we are going to start with the WWE. Let's start with Monday Night Raw. We had 3 qualifying matches to enter a triple threat match that will have already happened because this will come out Tuesday. And that was between the 3 matches were AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. AJ Styles went over. Riddle versus Sheamus. Riddle went over. And then Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley. Keith Lee won. So those 3 will now fight each other in a triple threat match with the winner going on to face Drew McIntyre at TLC. And again, that match will have already happened because this drops Tuesday. So guys, what are your thoughts on Raw and kind of the triple threat match set up for last night's Raw?
I liked it. You know, it was a nice way because we kind of were going to figure, okay, you know, Survivor Series is over. We can get back to, you know, Raw guys fighting Raw guys, SmackDown guys fighting SmackDown guys. And Drew McIntyre needs a new challenger now. Well, obviously, this was all kind of set up. But one thing that we got to mention, too, was one member of Team Raw did not make the qualifying matches because he went and got himself indefinitely suspended by headbutting an official.
Right.
And that would be Braun Strowman. So the lesson here is don't headbutt your boss.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. That, but stuff of that. But I liked the matches. I thought all 3 were good. The only thing I had an issue with was the finish of the Bobby Lashley Keith Lee match because he won by, you know, disqualification. So I mean, it's like, you know, it's just, again, I don't know why they seem to be going out of their way to not make Keith Lee this dominant force that he really should be.
Right.
I mean, that he was kind of on the verge of being, you know, on his main roster debut when he beat Randy Orton clean at a pay-per-view.
Yep.
That being said, though, still a good match. Riddle versus Sheamus put on another great match. Glad Riddle went over. And then just that AJ Styles Randy Orton match to end, you know, the show was definitely what they plugged it out to be. And obviously they fought at WrestleMania, and this was another WrestleMania worthy match. And the ending of that match clearly indicates that what the direction they're going in with Randy Orton. And that is, he's possibly atoning for the sins of burning the Wyatt family compound down a couple of years ago. So, yes, because we saw there was an appearance by one Fiend that led to AJ winning the match.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggyback there with you, DDJ, with, you know, storytelling. I think it was a weird time to kind of have the Fiend button into Randy Orton. I think there may have been a better time and place to kind of have the Fiend start to come after Orton for what he did to the compound, burning down Sister Abigail. And I like where they're going with this because it keeps Randy at least up in the forefront and it gives the Fiend somebody viable to go with.
Mm-hmm.
But early hot take.
Ooh,
Wow.
hot take.
Don't call it a prediction. This is merely the facts. Even though he hasn't looked strong in his last match, and they have been booking him a little weird, it will be Keith Lee versus doggone a McIntyre. I was about to say McInfart. See what they did? Versus McIntyre for the title.
Right.
McIntyre, of course, is going to go over in that matchup, but I think they finally give Keith Lee his due where he gets to look a little strong.
Okay, I'd be down for that. There was also reports, I think, from Dave Meltzer saying that Braun Strowman was going to be the challenger for Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
But I guess he suffered an injury at Survivor Series, so now they kind of had to pivot that direction. So I could definitely see them doing Keith Lee or any one of the people in the match, maybe even AJ Styles, because he could always eat a loss for sure.
Spencer, they threw out Braun because he hit the referee. We know how valuable referees are. I mean, hell, one of our friends in Junkies, Mr. Hunter Raynor, is a damn referee. I don't want no one hitting Hunter.
Yeah.
Cheap plug for Hunter.
Yeah. Our resident referee.
Yeah, he could take a bump. He'll be okay.
But actually, it wasn't a referee hit. It was an official. An official higher. Well, I don't know how high ranking Adam Pearce is, but apparently he's like an authority figure right now on Raw and SmackDown. So
they don't say authority figures no more.
No, that's just the authority.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't want no
authority
GMs
figures
anymore.
are still okay, but no, I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, I didn't realize, that there was a report that Braun had been injured or was injured and stuff because I'd seen the same report about them possibly, throwing Braun in next week and, it being a 4-way with Braun going over. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely with you guys on, seeing Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre because, AJ's had his chance at the belt, and stuff. And I mean, I don't think Riddle's quite ready for that yet, but I mean, I could definitely be down for another Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee match. I mean, they've shown that they could, not only on the main roster, but on the independent scene that they could. You put those two in a ring, those two can put on a great match.
Oh yeah.
All right. So that covers those 3 matches on Raw. Is there anything y'all want to touch upon before we move on to SmackDown?
Nothing I can think of, Giovanni.
Yeah, I can't really remember much from Raw besides those 3 matches. It wasn't a horrible episode of Raw. Those 3 matches did hold up and carry the show, but I don't think there was anything outside of that.
Okay.
Actually, no. Real quick before you go, I do got one thing. Hurt Business got screwed. They
Who?
should Hurt Business.
Oh.
They definitely, and I hope eventually their time comes because they deserve a run with those tag team titles. It's time for the New Day to drop the belt to the Hurt Business.
You know what? And that brings me to my next point. I can't believe I forgot it. Does anybody else kind of feel like the New Day are maybe splitting up? There was some discord between Kofi and Woods because they were supposed to be off last night. They had gotten the day off after that big fight with the Street Profits.
Right.
And Woods got goaded by the freaking Hurt Business, and Kofi kind of seemed like he was a little perturbed. So I don't know if that's maybe some story that's coming down the line where they eventually break up or causes them to drop the titles. But I don't know how much longer we'll have the New Day for.
It could be because I mean we kind of saw it at Survivor Series, and saw a little bit of the way the decision went down with the initial, I think when there was a double count out in the match on Raw, it seemed like especially Kofi had some heelish tendencies there. So, I mean, Giovanni, you may be onto something there. Because, I mean, the New Day was kind of almost like working like heels in that match against the Profits at Survivor Series. Yeah. And then when you came to that the tag title match on Raw, it was, the Hurt Business saying, no, we ain't going to go down like that, or whatever. And it's like Kofi's trying to no, we don't want it. It was like basically it's almost like the Hurt Business was playing the role of the babyface, saying like, no, this ain't right. this match deserves a definitive winner, and Kofi's kind of like, trying to not, he doesn't want to seem like he wants to go on. So there might be onto something there.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it.
Yep. Yeah. I hate to kind of burst your bubble there, but
you're going to do it anyway. So
Whoop, bubble burst. That match was actually not supposed to end like the way it did, like the double count out. It was supposed to end, New Day went over, but then they tried to restart it and then nobody knew what was really going on. So they had to change the finish. So possibly, there could be something, or it could just be like they kind of effed up. So it'll definitely be interesting. I could definitely get behind a heel Kofi. That could be very interesting for sure. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. And here's my hot take. I think the Hurt Business are going to hold those tag titles before Royal Rumble, possibly TLC.
All right.
I'm with you on that.
I'll be down for it.
I would too. All right, let's go on to Friday Night SmackDown. The big thing that came out of this was Jey Uso and Roman Reigns, talking in the ring. Roman didn't want any part of Jey being in the match at Survivor Series because he basically shunned the family just with that loss. But then we're now starting to see maybe a little more aggressive side of Jey Uso in these past few weeks. He attacked Otis with a chair. In his match with Kevin Owens, he attacked him with a chair to allow KO to win by disqualification. And it looks like we're possibly going to be getting Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns at TLC. Guys, what's your thoughts on that? We'll start with you, Giovanni.
Man, such a big baby, because when Otis was taking those chair shots, I was feeling every single one of them with him. And I guess I'm an Otis guy. I'm an Otis fan. I'm down with Otis. And Jesus, Jey starts just the onslaught. And I'm like, oh, no, why Otis? Why? But it makes sense because, if you're going to pull out an ultimate heel move, you have to do it to a guy that's super over in the face. And I think Otis kind of gave you that.
Right.
I'm all for this aggression, though. I think not to take someone else's gimmick or mention somebody out of the business of the WWE, but he's kind of starting to redefine who he is, and the way he's doing that, or the way Roman's doing that, is making him become more aggressive. Right. Kind of akin to what EC3 did with Moose at what was it? Not Slammiversary, but the one after.
Bound for Glory.
Bound for Glory. But overall, I'm still so invested into the storyline. Heel Roman still, to me, is one of the best things that WWE is doing. DDJ, take it away.
One thing, person you forgot to mention who felt the wrath of Jey Uso was Daniel Bryan.
That's right.
The match with Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan, and Daniel chases Sammy backstage. The referee's counting. Next thing you know, you see Sammy Owens running from the back into the ring to get the match via count out, and the announcer's like, "What happened?" And they cut to backstage, and Usos jumped Bryan with the chair back there. So going into that though, man, again, like Giovanni said, the heel Roman is the best thing WWE has put out in years.
Agreed.
I'm gonna honestly say that we're 2020. I'm gonna say this is probably the single best thing this company has done in the last 10 to 15 years, and probably even more.
Yes.
But not only that, but that promo that Kevin Owens cut at the end of SmackDown, basically calling Roman out, and everything. And Roman's just sitting back there. I'm just, my God, if this doesn't just show the people out there how good Kevin Owens is, not only in the ring, but on the microphone. And this was tame compared to some of the stuff the promos he used to cut in Ring of Honor.
Right.
And that. So obviously, different company, different audience, so, but just, God, I'm totally all in and sold on this. What seems to be, it hasn't been officially confirmed, but it looks like we're getting Roman versus KO in a match at TLC. Now, whether or not it's going to be a TLC match, or since the chair seems to be at the forefront, will it be just a chairs match or something? But whatever match they're putting these two guys in, sign me up.
Yes.
Yeah, I could possibly see, like, maybe Jey Uso gets a match on TLC by himself because he's been using the chair a lot. He could get a chairs match, and maybe like Roman versus KO, since it's for a major title, could be like the TLC match. I could definitely see that.
Maybe get Jey Uso versus Daniel Bryan or something.
Yeah, and that was definitely a hot take for sure. Like saying Roman is like probably one of the best things that's happened in 15 years. Because I'm not
going to say one of the best things. I'm going to say, and this is my hot take. So we all used our hot takes early tonight. So
we blew our load fast.
Yeah. I will go out and say that heel Roman and this whole story is the best thing the WWE's done in the last 10 to 15 years.
Wow. Big words from DDJ tonight. Coming out strong.
You can send hate mail to @DennisDayJR on Twitter.
Dennis WJR.
Dennis W. Day JR.
Yeah, Jovan doesn't even know his own co-host plugs.
I know. I hear him all the time. I just forget. I missed one letter.
That's a big letter. That's my middle initial.
I'm sorry, W.
Yeah, you got to flex your guns. Just stop. All right. That was the big thing on SmackDown. What else would you guys like to hit in the blue brand?
Sasha got her revenge on Carmella.
Okay.
And that's so because we were cutting back, Carmella was cutting. It was a really good promo too by Carmella.
Yes.
And stuff, like I like this kind of like made me think, okay, I see where she's coming from with this, she got tired of doing it for the fans, she's doing it for herself now and everything, and she's calling for, I think it was like a drink or something, she snaps her fingers, nothing, and all of a sudden, someone sticks their hand in, to give her a drink, and then simple turn of the wrist, and you saw the jewelry, and you're thinking, "Uh-oh, it's on." And then, it's Sasha got a little bit of a measure of revenge. So obviously, I think this is going to be another match we're going to see at TLC.
And I got a question here for everybody who kind of does the dirt sheets every once in a while. They're kind of alluding to Carmella maybe being a way to bring back All Red Everything Eva Marie. Because it kind of felt like when she was doing her promos in the red and, when she was wearing the red, she was kind of like a makeshift Eva Marie.
Yeah.
Do we want to see Eva Marie back, or are we good with just leaving Mella as money the way she is right now?
Mella is money. Done.
There you go.
Yeah, I got to side with DDJ there. Eva Marie, stay away from the WWE, please.
There you go.
Good takes.
Yep, good takes. So I think that's it for the blue brand. I think it's time to move on to Tuesday night, where we talk a little bit of Impact. The big thing, not the big thing, but one thing I want to talk about, probably one of the funniest segments I've seen in a while on there. We had the return of AJ Styles to Impact. Now, I know what you're thinking. AJ Styles is in WWE. He's on Monday Night Raw, the captain of Team Raw, thankfully. No, it was actually AJ Swoggle.
The wee-nominal one.
The wee-nominal one. It was Hornswoggle dressed as AJ Styles, and I think he fought Ethan Page, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that was great entertainment from that.
Yes. Yeah. It was, it was funny because, I'm thinking, okay, I would have never thought in my mind they would have brought in, Swoggle for this match when they were billing this as, Carl Anderson's, booking the phenomenal opponent,
Right.
Yep.
No, because, again, you think phenomenal in TNA, you think AJ Styles.
Yep.
What are they going to do? And I saw it and I'm just like, oh my God.
This is
match, Swoggle got the win. The thing that kind of hurts me, though, in this match is because it seems like we're seeing the impending breakup of one of my favorite tag teams currently going right now, and that's the North. Because at the end of that match, there was clearly some dissension brewing between Ethan Page and Josh Alexander.
Brother, this is what Impact does the best. Comedy wrestling, whatever you want to call it, Impact just has a way with their segments and with their comedic aspects. Hell, Crazy Steve being blind and still wrestling. It's gold when it works. When it's absolutely on point, you get the phenomenal one, and it is freaking awesome. Now, I do think the North is breaking up. And hopefully we can get Ethan Page's karate guy from Talking Shopomania.
Yes. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Ethan Page's contract up either at the end of the year or end of January or something like that?
I think it is at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been rumors where he might go, but we'll have to see. Guys, there has been one question looming on all of Impact, and that is, who shot Johnny Bravo?
Hey, Spencer, real quick before we go into this,
yes.
Did you ever watch that 2-part episode, Who Shot Mr. Burns, like Giovanni and I asked you to about like 3 weeks ago?
To all the listeners, no, I have not seen that, and I will not see that.
Boo.
I don't give in to temptation.
Boo Earns.
Boo Earns? Are they saying Boo Earns?
Yeah.
My hot take, Simpsons is overrated.
Oh, you could put that hate mail on Twitter at Scantor 11
on Twitter.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that one.
Scantor 11 on Twitter.
Or he can reach him at Spencer Cantor on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page, because we know there's a lot of Simpsons fans out there. And guys, you need to flood Spencer's box with hate mail right now.
Please, I'm gonna post it myself so we can see reactions.
Oh God.
But who shot Johnny Bravo?
This was a fumble.
Very rarely have I wanted to have I been publicly just disappointed with something impacted, and today is one that segment was one of those moments.
Yes,
it's just like I don't even, Giovanni. You go take this for me real quick,
brother. It's like I said, when they do comedy good, it's great, but when they miss like this one, God, it sucked. You're bringing in the whole aspect of virgin blood, and Rosemary may or may not have been in it, and it was just what? Why?
Yeah, it's just.
It was Maggie Simpson. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
this is not giving me high hopes to start watching Impact, guys.
That was a rare miss. That was a rare miss.
There's plenty of other stuff to look forward to coming up on Impact, and just real quick, one thing I want to touch on with Impact, and you guys, I think in our little podcast chat, I went crazy over this when this happened. But we finally got the reveal of who's tagging with Jordan Grace in the Knockouts Tag Team Title Tournament. Yes. And I, for one, am completely fucking excited about this. We are getting the baddest female wrestler of all time, Jazz, in Impact Wrestling.
And, the funny thing is Jazz, I thought she was going to be doing her farewell tour. I think she was retiring so she can do that school with Rodney Mack and Thunder Rosa, but apparently this farewell tour is stopping in Impact.
And that, so I mean, I saw you kind of going, doing the ooh hands there.
Well, no, that was the Jazz hands.
Those were the Jazz hands.
Oh, God. For those of you guys out there who may not know a lot about Jazz and who she is. She is a former NWA Women's Champion. I believe she held the title for almost 3 years before she was. I think she had to relinquish the title due to an injury or something, which is a crime. But go back and watch her stuff in ECW, and just she's one of those women that don't ever go up to her and ask her, hey, tell her go make me a sandwich.
Yeah, her husband, man, he's a big dude. Rodney Mack's a big dude, and I still wouldn't talk back to Jazz.
Oh, nope. Wow. Yeah, because I know when we had our chat, you were so excited, oh my God, can you believe this happened? And we're like, what happened? And then you're like, well, Jazz is in Impact, and I'm just like, okay. So,
like I said, when it comes to and the reason why I'm so excited about this is because when it comes to my favorite women wrestlers of all time, there are two at the top of the list. One is Lita, and the other is Jazz.
I love Lita.
Yes, Jazz is just, I don't know. There's something about her that. Just I'm totally in on her, man. So
And if I can give you guys one more reason to watch Impact, it really isn't that hard. It's Moose.
Oh, thought we were going to make it without one of the Mooses.
Nope, had to do it. Mises now because I did it twice.
I eat that you Mises to pieces.
Mises to pieces.
All right, before we go off the rails anymore and talk about Mises to pieces, let's move on to the Wednesday Night Wars. Let's start with NXT. We had a big ladder match between Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly for the man advantage at this upcoming NXT War Games that'll be coming out Sunday, I believe, December 6th. Pete Dunne went over. I heard it was a hell of a match. I have not had the opportunity to see it, and I know Jovan put it over big time in the Facebook group.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's one of those rare barn burners, and for me to say that, I don't know if you guys know or not, but I am not particularly over on Pete Dunne. Excuse me. The hand manipulations and stuff, and the joint locks and all that crap. I'm not really feeling that.
Right.
And it's just not my style that I like. I'm a big Matt guy. I just can't, for some reason, get into him. But this match, God, like I said in my 2 cents, that may have been the match of the week. Or I'm going to just stick to it. It was the match of the week this week.
All right. Any thoughts?
I really can't. There's one match that I need to see, and it's something that I'm going to bring up here in a little bit to decide if I agree with that. But if this match doesn't live up to it, yeah, I'm going to probably go with Giovanni here and say that that Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly in that ladder match has got to be the match of the week.
Okay.
That was one of that. That's what you call a match was worthy of being on TakeOver.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dennis, since we are on the topic of NXT, you want to go ahead and talk about that one match?
Yeah. So I was actually, as of when we were getting ready to record, so I was just getting ready to, and I'll probably catch this match as soon as we're done recording, so maybe I can discuss it a little bit on next week's episode. But shout out to a kid of NXT UK for winning the Heritage Cup tournament. He defeated Trent Seven in the finals. Again, if you guys have seen that match, please let us know what you thought about it and stuff. I'm actually going to probably watch it as soon as we're done recording. But, I mean, from everything that I've heard, that it was a great match, so it's one of those, and kind of like I kind of having the same opinion of NXT UK that I do of Impact. I think it's like one of those shows that's so good, but it just nobody's watching it right now. So guys, just please go check out this match. And like I said, I'm going to, and congrats again to A-Kid for winning the Heritage Cup. So now let's get back to our regular Wednesday night NXT talk.
All right.
Change the channel back to NXT Wednesdays.
Yeah. Also on NXT, we had a big development in terms of the women's War Games match. Mm-hmm. One Toni Storm has now turned heel and aligned herself with Team Candice. Thoughts?
Breaks my heart. I love Toni Storm. I like a good heel turn, but man, I don't want to root against Toni Storm.
I kind of actually like it, and I think where they're going to go with this, and the reason why she did it to Ember Moon is because it's almost like, there was this hype about, Toni Storm coming to NXT, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Ember Moon makes her return. So I could easily see, Toni Storm coming out, on this upcoming episode of NXT saying, this should have been my moment, but, Ember Moon ruined it, and basically she's going to make it her mission to take out, Ember Moon because Ember Moon stole her spotlight. And I actually kind of like this because, obviously Giovanni's a big fan of Toni Storm. It's just, there's really nothing that's kind of made me like really get emotionally invested in Toni Storm. She's got a good look and she's, good in the, but it's just like, I haven't had anything that's like, okay, I got to invest some time into Toni Storm. So but no, I like it. I'm anxious to see where they go with this and stuff, and poor Indy Hartwell, she took a bullet for Candice LeRae, and
yeah, she did
that. So when Ember Moon, went to go deliver the her finisher, the Eclipse, if that's what she's still calling it, to Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, pushed her out of the way and ended up taking the move. And, so.
I love that move too. The Eclipse. Jeez, dude.
Great.
It's freaking a stunner from the top, but that landing's got to be rough. Stone Cold said that, the stunners were tough on him because he landed on his bottom so much when he was doing them.
Right.
Just fucking look at Ember Moon, dude. She's coming off the top rope, landing that shit. Her back's going to be jacked too. She got to watch it.
Oh, that's going to mess it up. DDJ, I saw you were reaching for your fridge. We haven't even mentioned your favorite faction tonight.
I was actually looking to see if I had any bottles of water, and when I don't have any down here, so.
Oh, DDJ trying to keep it healthy. We appreciate that, man.
Yep.
That's right.
Shout out, just kind of going off the wrestling thing. Shout out to Dennis, man. He is doing a great job. He's been trying to lose weight recently, and then we got the holiday season coming up, so it might be a little difficult. But hey, shout out to you, man. You're doing a great job.
Keep it up.
Thanks, guys. It's having the support of you guys and the rest of the the junkies, my friends, my family, just the total strangers that leave nice things for me on the Weight Watchers group that I'm the Weight Watchers app. It just inspires me to do more, and so I just thank you for that. That hearing that really means a lot.
Y'all better watch out. DDJ is going to be El Guapo J over there pretty soon.
Oh,
hey, no. I keep this up sometime in the future. You're going to see me on 205 Live.
Oh, book it. Oh man, he's throwing up the guns again.
Cue the Hulk Hogan music.
We'll save that. But guys, that's the kind of the big things that happened on NXT. Anything else y'all want to touch about before we move to AEW?
We got a few matches set up for the next NXT takeover. I mean, obviously we got the War Games. Seemingly Candice's team is filled.
Right.
We have a pretty good idea of where, who's going to be on Team Shotzi.
Yep.
Then we have the men's matches set and the participants are known, but we also had in a very entertaining segment with our SmackDown's Kevin Owens, proving he can do it. Not only does it on SmackDown, but he can do it in NXT as well. We got a triple threat match set up for TakeOver, which I believe I actually called that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you did.
With Leon Ruff, Johnny Gargano, and Damian Priest.
Right.
And then we also have another match between Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes, and it's going to be a strap match.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a Judy Bagwell on a pole match. I mean, a strap match.
It's better than a pinata on a pole match.
It's going to be a Lana through a table match.
Oh,
puts her to a table first.
But yeah, that brings up a good point. NXT TakeOver War Games will be happening on December 6th, and if I can coordinate,
actually,
would be
December 8th. December 6th is Friday.
Whatever. Oh well, hey, December 6th, Friday. Join us for our NXT War Games predictions in the group, probably after SmackDown. But December 8th, War Games, so that should be a good one for sure. It always is. Let's move into AEW. Had some big developments there. We had a women's championship match between Hikaru Shida and Anna Jay. Hikaru Shida did go over. Sad day. My girl did not win, but she looked great.
She always looks great.
Well, yeah. If you haven't, I want to give a recommendation. Go listen to AEW Unrestricted. They did an episode with Anna Jay. Very good episode. I highly recommend that one.
Hey, Spencer.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. You had the correct date. It was December 6th. My apologies.
Oh, my head's already starting to get bigger.
Hey, at least I was humble enough to admit when I was wrong. So
okay,
there you go.
That's good. But guys, what were your thoughts on that match?
I think it kind of just led to the feeling that Hikaru Shida right now looks head and shoulders above her competition, the division.
Way.
It did showcase that at least Anna Jay she's a whole lot better in the ring than what she was like one of her beginning matches that were a little green.
Right.
She's come leaps and bounds. It was a great match for her to showcase, where she's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Shida, She's the upper echelon right now, man. I don't know if they have anybody on the current roster that can realistically dethrone her in a match. That's even with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. We haven't seen her in the ring in a while, so I'm hoping ring rust doesn't kill that eventual match.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, man, that's what I got.
I mean, yeah, when you say clearly head and shoulders above the rest of the women's division, I mean, as evidenced by her record this year, I believe when she came out to the ring, they flashed like her record for this year. She was like 20 wins and only 1 loss, and I believe that 1 loss was in a tag team match or something. I believe. I don't think she's been lost a one-on-one match in a really long time. And yeah, I mean, she's clearly head and shoulders above everyone else. I still stand by my statement that Britt Baker is going to be the one. Excuse me, Dr. Britt Baker,
DMD,
is going to be the one to take the belt off of her. But yeah, so and that. So, but yeah, that was still, clear evidence. I mean, Anna Jay had a nice showing, and her time is coming. But yeah, so I definitely, like I said, eventually we are going to get Sheeta versus Baker, and I, for one, yeah, I'm ready for that, because as much as I love Sheeta, I think Britt's ready for. I think Britt's ready for that role that she was supposed to be put in when she signed with the company, and that is the face of the women's division.
Yeah, she will be there eventually. Let's stick on the Dark Order train. We had Adam Yeah, buddy. If you're watching the video feed, you see I'm rocking my Dark Order beanie. Join the Dark Order. But yeah, so we had Adam Hangman Page versus Johnny Janet Silver. Dennis flexing again. Yeah, great match. John Silver, I think he's been in the wrestling business for 15, 16 years. This dude is not getting enough respect. He is great on BTE. He is funny as hell, but dude can go in the ring. That is a fantastic match. I wouldn't probably call it match of the week with, Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne. But that is definitely one to go out of your way and watch for sure.
Hot take. John Silver has clearly established himself as the number 2 man in the Dark Order behind Mr. Brody Lee.
Hot take. I agree with you. I think he will be possibly a TNT champion or even an AEW tag team champion in the new year sometime.
I would love for that to happen. I think Silver is slowly one of those unspoken guys who are just the hosses. When Sean Spears came to AEW, they called him a good hand. That's what freaking Johnny Hungy is, man. This dude is a good hand. You don't really understand the level that he's at until you see him against the Hangman Page, and you're like, holy crap, this dude can go.
Yeah.
He is the epitome, like when you go online and do a picture search for running with the ball when having it given to him. You go there, you go do a search for that, you will see a picture of John Silver on there, because he is the epitome of running with the ball when given the ball.
Yes.
I'm glad to see my co-host agree with me. John Silver is gold. But then
shout out to Chili's for getting them their food, their Thanksgiving dinner on the latest episode of BTE.
Oh, if you're not watching BTE, you're totally missing out. And the Dark Order is just killing it on there. So, and
also too, don't forget John Silver, your BTE world champion.
Damn straight, man. He's facing Trent, I think, on the latest episode, which again will have come out by then. Hopefully, he does retain. We need to keep the gold in the Dark Order.
Yep.
But after the match, we had Dark Order came over to Hangman. You're like, great job for winning, and there's seeds that have been playing also on BTE too, that Hangman might be joining the Dark Order, and I, for one, would be all on board that train if that happens.
It'd be interesting.
You know what, DDJ? I'm not going to lie to you, and Spencer, I'm not going to lie to you either. I don't see the anxious millennial cowboy joining the Dark Order. I'm still holding out hope that he's part of the 4 horsemen iteration inside of AEW. Incarnation, there you go, in AEW. So, as much as I would like to see this play out with him and, Evil Uno even shouted him out on Thanksgiving, on Twitter. I hope Adam Page directly has a great Thanksgiving. I feel like it's not meant for Page to be in the Dark Order, as crazy as that sounds.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not totally crazy, but, I think they could definitely run with that and have an interesting storyline with that. Few other things in AEW. We had Taz. Well, first off, we have Will Hobbs has a brand new name. That's Giovanni's favorite wrestler over there. El Guapo 2 Hotty's favorite wrestler. Powerhouse Hobbs put a beating on Lee Johnson and just destroyed him, which, Lee basically is just there to take all the losses. But then after the fact, Taz came to the ring with the FTW championship, and he wants AEW to put some respect on that title and start recognizing it. And he was saying, oh, yeah, we need a member of management to come out and make this happen. Cody came out, and he started talking some shit, and then also started mentioning his son, Hook, who is, I think, training with Cody in real life at the Nightmare Factory.
Yep.
And then once he said that, Taz got pissed, and he put him to sleep.
Yep. Choked him out.
So much there to unpack.
Yeah, unpack it.
Number one, DDJ. I'm sorry, I'm about to take this one because I need to rile off real quick.
Go for it, my man.
Because it just makes me physically ill to have to think about this guy in Team Taz, and that is the powerhouse Will Hobbs. I was all about willpower. I'm not behind the powerhouse. So I will say,
get out of here.
He did look cool in the orange and black Taz colors. He did come out with like the Iron Man Mike Tyson rip away towel, which shout out to Mike Tyson, who has a fight right now or sometime tonight when we're recording this against Roy Jones Jr. Hopefully Mike wins. We'll see what happens and he doesn't bite no one's ear off. But back to Hobbs and the FTW situation, man. I'm gonna try to breeze through this one too, so I can get DDJ on. But Jesus, dude, Hook, your name is Hook. That's the name you decided to go to for your wrestling name is Hook. Is it because your dad's from Red Hook, New York? Dude, all this fell a little flat to me. I know Taz
maybe he was a fan of the Hook movie.
That could be Captain Hook.
Yeah,
but Taz can talk.
Hookers.
The Junkyard does not support hookers. We only support the ladies dancing for college. But like I was saying, the whole Taz and Cody interaction, it just fell flat for me. DDJ.
Back on point.
I'm gonna actually like I said, I think I'm gonna disagree with you on this, Giovanni, because I mean, first off, and I think I was talking with you guys. I know I was talking with someone about this, but man, Taz once again killed it on the mic with this.
Yep.
He's got mic skills.
Taz is seriously is amazing on the mic. I mean, you can clearly tell there is some realism, some truth behind, I think, a lot of what he says, and that always adds to the presentation.
Right.
And then when Cody come out, and then it got real personal when Cody brought up his kid. And
what's his kid's name?
Hook.
Ugh.
But I mean, added the realism, and then Taz, Cody may have crossed the line, but again, and I'm anxious to see what repercussions that Taz is going to have to deal with, since technically Cody is an EVP,
right?
And he wasn't like as he was in an official capacity in this, so I could easily see there being some sort of sanctions for and for those of you who are listening to this, I'm doing the air quotes as I said, sanctions, and stuff. But I mean, I fully expect there to be something along the lines, because I mean, Braun Strowman got indefinitely suspended for headbutting Adam Pearce. Taz choked an executive vice president of All Elite Wrestling. Now, I mean, he's got something, I mean, if he gets a fine or a 1 week suspension, Braun Strowman's got a legitimate beef and that. So, but anyways, though, and then just seeing Taz's kid leave with Taz, I mean, there's just so much realism that, got into this. And I went from thinking Team Taz, is just because I just felt like there really wasn't a lot of shine being put on, especially Brian Cage. But I mean, man, though, this is getting really good. And if I'm not mistaken, in this in the match with Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks cut a hell of a promo too.
Yes.
And so shout out to Ricky Starks, who is really shining brightly in AEW.
Yeah, absolutely killing it.
Definitely. Yeah. Ricky Starks definitely cut a promo. I think what is it? Him and Powerhouse Hobbs have a match against Cody versus Cody and Darby at this Wednesday's AEW Winter is Coming. Kind of like a little small pay-per-view, so that'll be very interesting to check that out. One more thing I want to touch on AEW before we move on. We had officially the contract signing happen between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. Kenny Omega was coming out and doing his entrance, with the girl, and then standing at the entranceway, and then Mox is like, I have this shit. Basically attacks them, cuts a promo on them, signs it, and just says, I'll see you next Wednesday.
Nice. Real quick, too, one more thing before we move on. We also had the return of a certain Murder Hawk monster at the end.
That's right.
And it looks like there's some people that are about to die.
Hey, DDJ, everybody dies.
Everybody dies.
Oh, you doing a little singing there, DDJ?
That
was a little vocals.
That's all you're getting from me.
Oh, okay. Well, he's kind of segueing us into our next segment here. Do we have any final things we want to say on AEW?
Omega wins next week. Let's go.
Hey, hot take. You're not wrong. It's happening.
I think it's unanimous here. I am going with Omega as well.
The return of the cleaner. All right. So that is going to be it for This Week in Wrestling. Guys, and DDJ, you were kind of alluding to it with singing. Let's get into our weekly roundtable. For this week's weekly roundtable, as DDJ kind of alluded to, unintentionally, but it does work perfectly. He did a little bit of singing and dancing and bopping and weaving to Lance Archer's song. So that gets us into our topic this week, and that is entrance themes and entrances in general. So, the wrestlers, they got to go out there, they got to cut a promo, they have to be able to wrestle. And, some people, they can do that. That's fine. But what really gets the wrestlers in the mood, the crowd amped up and everything, it's the entrance music. It's the entrance. If you have a flat entrance or your music sucks, the crowd isn't going to get into you. You'll be able to wrestle and everything, but it's that initial pop from the music that gets people going. Yes. So kind of to start out here, what kind of makes a good entrance theme, and why is it so important, in a wrestler's entrance?
Okay, so I got a little bit of perspective music. Yeah, and reason being is I go much like you guys do. We all go to independent shows a lot,
right? Yep.
Stuff. A couple of years ago, I went to a Warrior Wrestling show, and they were having some audio issues. So eventually got to the point where the wrestlers were coming out to the ring with no music.
Right.
And it's just a lot of times, it's just these guys are coming out, and it's just you don't have that instant recognition, let's, when the glass breaks, Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming. Right. If you, when you hear, if you smell, The Rock's coming. You hear, let me go. It's time to get some, Jericho and stuff. And it's just,
yeah, buddy.
That night really showed me how important music is overall to the presentation of a wrestling show, because you don't have that instant recognition. You don't have, like you said, that glass breaking, the crowd goes crazy, when the wrestlers are they're completing that transformation into the character, and they're going out to the ring to do their thing. And that. So, and I just think entrance music is just it's about as important as it gets when it comes to an overall presentation, because
right.
a lot of time the right song makes can make or break the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 100% agree, man. I couldn't have said it better. And to me, I think, what makes those moments, or at least those music selections, the best, you have to have something that's going to get people amped up for the moment you go.
Yes.
That initial glass break, you get chills. The Undertaker's gong hit, you get chills. You know exactly what's coming. So what makes a good entrance song is those exact moments. Like, it has to be something that gets the audience like that.
Right.
And from that moment forward, the whole walk to the ring, the song can fade out because the crowd is already roaring and they see who it is, and that connection's been made.
Right. Definitely. Like, like Dennis said it perfectly, like if there's like no entrance music, or if probably the wrong entrance music is used, like that could easily like get a crowd out of the match and just be like, okay, why do I care about you? Like, you come out to this shitty music, you put no production behind it. Also, just like with the entrance, is like in independent shows, might do like smoke and everything, and then. But like for the big shows like AEW or WWE, if like they pick some of the worst music ever, or they just don't know how to walk out to the ring, it's like, why do I care? Like, entrance music, entrances, and you guys said it perfectly. It is vital to a wrestler's character. It could definitely make or break you for sure. Like, you could have your ring skills, you could be promo, but if you don't have a good entrance theme, or even just a good entrance, why is the fan going to care about you?
Yeah.
So there have been a ton of entrance themes, ton of entrances. Let's break this down a little bit, and we'll start with entrances. What would you guys maybe classify as maybe some like the greatest entrances, or just kind of entrances that are kind of like special occasion entrances?
So are you talking like WrestleMania, just like when they come out of Wrestle, or just in general? Like?
Right, just kind of like WrestleMania in general, kind of a time when there was an entrance, because we'll shoot back to the music, but kind of like a special entrance. Say, I'll start off with Triple H. He has had his WrestleMania entrances. He's, for the past few years, he's done like the Skull, I think at like WrestleMania 30. WrestleMania 34, he came out with his wife on the bike. Then this past WrestleMania, or the 1 year ago, you did the one like the Mad Max with Triple H and Batista. So kind of something like that.
Did you mention his WrestleMania 31 Terminator entrance?
Terminator.
Nope, forgot that one too. Like,
and then also too, I believe he was the first person that had a live band play him to the ring when the DX band played him to the ring at WrestleMania 14, and he also had at WrestleMania 17, which is my personal favorite when it comes to just Triple H entrances, is when he came to the ring with Motorhead playing him to the ring. I just something about that. I love that entrance there.
Right, and that's another aspect I think we could definitely jump into, like the use of live bands and live music to enhance entrance theme, like at a WrestleMania or some big show too.
So one entrance, and I'm just gonna go ahead and hit it right out of the park. I'm gonna shoot my shot, whatever you want to call it and stuff.
Oh no!
Personally, when it comes to entrances, my personal favorite entrance of all time, and this may shock some people because it's not from WWE, it's not from AEW, it's not from Impact, it's not from WCW. It comes from ECW.
Oh,
that is a certain beer drinking, cigarette smoking, Singaporean carrying man known as the Sandman.
Right.
A perfect example. I was at the ECW November to Remember 2000. It was the last show that they ended up doing in Chicago, and it was their main event. It was a double Jeopardy match. It was Jerry Lynn, Justin Credible, Steve Corino, and the Sandman. Steve Corino and Justin Credible were just beating the crap out of Jerry Lynn. In fact, I think they did bloodied him in the opening minutes of the match. And then next thing you know, you hear dun 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 dun, and the crowd just went crazy. And somewhere in the rafters or something, spotlight shines on the Sandman, beer in his hand, smoking a cigarette, and literally just he walks through the crowd. It's like a 5-minute entrance. The whole crowd is singing Enter Sandman. He's smoking cigarettes. He's drinking beer. He's busting the cans over his head. He's already busted by the time he gets to the ring. And what's really cool about this, and this is kind of what sold me on the whole Sandman entrance, is I'm sitting front row at the show, and I'm doing something. I'm like looking over to my one side, and I think I was talking to my best friend, and I look over, and the Sandman is standing right next to me. What do I do? And instead of oh my God, I slip off my chair, and you can actually see this on that if you go watch this event on the paper. So, guys, if you want to see me get humiliated on pay-per-view TV, go watch November to Remember 2000 during the Sandman's entrance. But in actuality, no, it's just a cool entrance because it was like one of the first real inner entrances where I felt like the fans were part of the entrance, like they're singing along, they're clapping along,
right?
And when it comes to that. We go to, I think it's the ECW One Night Stand, the very first pay-per-view. The main event was the Dudley Boys versus Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. And I don't know how much they paid, but it had to have been a lot because I think licensing Metallica is not cheap. They brought that song back one last time for the Sandman to come out to. And I think that just was just the epitome of, to me, what the perfect entrance is.
Man, that's a great one, DDJ. Damn it. Knocked it out of the park on the first one. Blew his load quickly.
What you got, Giovanni?
Well, I'm at a crossroads here, gentlemen. I don't want to shoot my big shot yet, so I'm going to build up I'm going to take the opposite approach of what DDJ did.
Okay.
This entrance, I believe, was first performed at an NXT TakeOver show by a then former Strong Style King.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Nakamura comes out with the guy playing the violin.
Yes.
Dude, yeah. When I'm bored, I watch that thing on YouTube. No lie. There's just something about the way the guy starts playing, just a dun dun, and he just really gets into it, and the music hits, and you just lose it. And that was before Nakamura changed his music to that crap that he's had. But this was the original Rising Sun music. Yep. He was freaking phenomenal. I was there for his debut, and that entrance without the damn violin playing is spectacular. Everybody starts singing, and it's just a mood. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's actually kind of what I was thinking too. Not the one from NXT TakeOver, but the one when he debuted on SmackDown. He comes out, the guy has the violin. People, if they've watched NXT, they know what's happened, but if they haven't, they're in for a treat. He comes out, the music plays, and everybody just sings along. It is so amazing just to hear that. And then as you said, they kind of ruined it by adding the words. It worked at first, but it's never the same as the original. I think one entrance I've really liked recently is the entrance at AEW Revolution. That's when Chris Jericho came out to acquire. It was actually somebody, I think, like a fan who did like a video, and then he brought her in to Chicago to actually sing his entrance. And it was something very special. So it's always cool, like when wrestlers get like fans or just anybody else involved. In like their entrance, and kind of one more, and then I'll let DDJ go to his. Going back on Nakamura, like at WrestleMania 34, he got played with the Rising Sun with
Nita Strauss, I believe.
Nita Strauss killed that. So that's another time.
Killed that guitar.
Yes. So DDJ, what else you got for us?
So you mentioned Chris Jericho's entrance at Revolution, and I got to see that live, and that was just amazing to just be part of that and just singing along to.
I get it.
And stuff. This is another really good entrance Jericho has had, and I believe it was his. Actually, no, I shouldn't say believe because I just recently watched this. It was his entrance at the first AEW Double or Nothing, which I know Spencer you were at.
Yeah,
when
buddy.
He basically did the different versions of Jericho before he came out. You had Lionheart, then you had the List, then you had White, the Jacket and stuff, and then he came out to the Painmaker, and I just thought it was really cool to pay homage to all the different versions of Chris Jericho. Just some other really good ones. This next one, I've never been a fan of this guy, and I never will be. But his entrance is always, I thought, really spectacular. I thought I actually don't want. This is probably the only thing I really like about this guy, and that's Goldberg's entrance. I mean,
yes,
from the locker room, you hear the banging on the door. He's headbutting the door. He's got the security, and whether or not it's actual people or it's piped in crowd noise. But you're hearing Goldberg,
yes,
and then he comes out, the sparklers, the pyro, everything. He actually breathes it in and, then spits out the smoke. And I just always thought that makes for a really cool visual. And just week in and week out, that would I'm not a Goldberg fan, but that entrance is pretty damn cool. Another one, it's just that that always just felt special, and it was kind of alluded to, in the opening of this segment. That's The Undertaker. I mean, every time the lights go out, the gong hits, the lighters, back in the day, it was the lighters would come on. Now it's the phones and everything, and the smoke and just the overall presentation. And just that, it always made for weekend. And then we also week in, week out. Then that also makes another, really neat entrance that I really liked was of Bray Wyatt. And I'm not talking about the Fiend. I'm actually talking about, you know what? Even though, Giovanni just gave me the double bird, I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to say anymore because I felt like that was an illusion that I was stealing his thunder, and I want to be the better man in this, in this group here. So, Giovanni, I'm going to forego talking about that, and I'm going to hand it off to you.
Jeez, he's rattling them off, and I'm over here like, okay, he hasn't touched any of the ones that I'm about to hit on, and then the very last one, he's like, not the Fiend, but Bray Wyatt. Oh, you suck.
But at least I was nice enough to yield to you and not steal your thunder completely. So you're welcome.
Thank you very much, DDJ. I do appreciate that. I think the best Bray Wyatt one, though, his normal entrance when he had the lantern, he blew it out, and then that was amazing.
Yeah.
But he had an entrance where they had the rocking chair.
Yes.
And he would just show up, and he's there. And then he's standing there. Then he has a lantern. Then you get the blowout. That was amazing. That, to me, for one of the more weekly kind of entrances, was badass. Yeah, Let's see here to hit on some others that I had. Special entrances. Kenny Omega in his last Wrestle Kingdom. The video game aspect of him and Tanahashi's whole breakdown was amazing. I freaking loved it. Let's go with another good one that I had before I drop one of my... Well, you know what? This is another good one. Is a wrestler that I think is a little underrated, and I really wish they would do more with him. This guy came out, and I'm pretty sure it was a takeover with a gospel in the gospel choir.
Oh, yeah.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Special.
And he's coming down from the heavens, and it's one rude man, right?
Yeah.
Robert Roode, to me, just on my workout list, Glorious is on there, guys. I don't know what it is, but I could be pumping iron or trying to do a little cardio, and I just hear Glorious, and I'm throwing the hands out there too. Yes.
We're all doing it.
So for me, that was an amazing one. Finn Balor's Demon. Anytime the Demon had a big match, he came out and showed. And I think one of the best ones was the Jack the Ripper one.
That's one I was hoping you were going to bring up.
Oh, I love that entrance so much, dude.
Yes.
I think then I'm just going to throw one more, just like a weekly one that you would see every week. And that would be Metalingus Edge. Nice. Just, you think you know me, you just get this doom, 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 smoke popping up. Dude, you get into it, and that's on the workout playlist too.
Oh, it better be.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I got one more that I really want to touch on, and then, I think I'm pretty good with entrances and stuff. And this is actually kind of a little bit of a throwback to the old school. And I got to go with and it's just not only the music, but just the presentation and just the outfits he used to wear. And that's Randy Savage.
Yes.
Just with the and just he came out, and man, his his entrance when he would come out, and it's pop, they're playing Pomp and Circumstance, and for those of you that don't know, Pomp and Circumstance is the song that's played at literally everybody's high school. So so you can thank Randy Savage for that next time when the next person to graduate high school or whatever, or college. But just it felt like a big deal because he had these extravagant robes, especially when he was the Macho King, and he had the 5, the 6 or 8 guys, whatever, bringing him, carrying him and Queen Sherry on the throne, and he had his crown and his scepter, and it's just man, there's just something about a Randy Savage entrance that just wow.
I'm gonna take one back with you, and I'm gonna also step into the before times. Man, I don't know what it was about this theme song, this entrance. It just really, every time it hit home, and it may have been the damn cowbell, who knows? But Dusty Rhodes,
yes,
the American Dream, dude. God, that got me so pumped. And you get the damn cowbell. Boom, boom, boom. He's just a common man.
More cowbell.
Yes.
Working hard for the man.
That song is on my playlist as well. I love Dusty.
Yeah.
Can I do a dishonorable mention?
Oh, please.
Oh,
I know, right?
Dishonorable mention.
Flip it up on y'all. Dishonorable mention to Downstate when they did the live rendition of Cody's Kingdom. Jesus, you guys sucked that night.
Oh, that was so bad. And that actually, I actually love his original song, but then when did that, oh, it's so bad.
The people used to sing Cody's song before they started singing Judas.
Yeah.
And then after they did that live, everybody stopped and it just went straight to Judas.
Yeah. I definitely see that. But guys, those were some great all-time entrances and everyday entrances. I totally agree with all those for sure. Let's jump back into entrance themes now. Before we list our personal top 5s, let's touch upon this. There have been wrestlers who have had great entrance themes, but then there are some that have actually had a couple great entrance themes. Kind of some to name some, and we'll just kind of talk about those and kind of why the 2 that they have are considered great. And then if you have anybody else I don't list off, please feel free to say that. But we have guys like Jericho. You had Break the Walls Down, and then now you got Judas. AJ Styles, a personal favorite of mine. You had Get Ready to Fly, and the They Don't Want None, his theme in WWE now. Bray Wyatt, his entrance theme is not really different, but it's more hard rock, like a remix. Still great. Randy Orton, you had Burn in My Light, and now you got Hear Voices in My Head, Voices. CM Punk, his first theme is great.
It's fire.
Yeah, if you know the name, shout it out. And then, of course, Cult of Personality, that's a classic. Kenny Omega, he had Devil Sky, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yes.
And then now he's got
Battle Cry.
And then you guys brought this up before we started. John Cena, Doctor of Thugonomics, and then My Time Is Now. So just kind of break down why these entrance themes, both of them are great, and if you have any other ones you want to talk about, go ahead.
One I want to mention is I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Nice.
Because you had, well, technically he had 3, because before he started using Real American, he used Eye of the Tiger from Survivor.
Yep.
Which obviously, if you're a fan of the Rocky movies, and Say No More. But but then just when he went to, I'm, Real American, and just those initial guitar riffs, dun, 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 because and you knew, when you heard that, Hogan was coming, and the bad guy was going to get beaten up. And this was the guy everybody came to see back in the day.
Right.
You wanted to be on the same show as Hogan, because you knew that's where the money was, being and that. And then when he did the Unthinkable, which I've gone on the record to say him turning heel and joining the NWO saved his career from being over a lot sooner than it turned out to be. You know, you had the NWO theme, you know, dun, 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 dun. I mean, that's just there's like a guy there that had two iconic themes.
Right.
So that's one I got. Giovanni, who you got?
You know what? Shout out to Triple H and his like 6 different iterations.
That's a really good one
of of Play the Game.
Yeah.
And the DX theme, you know, Triple H, I think, has gone through shit. He even had the Evolution theme for a while. And then
by Motorhead.
Yeah. So it's Triple H, hats off. He's had a few different iterations of his music, and it's same centralized sound, but it gets better every time it changes.
Okay. One I just thought of now, you had Kofi Kingston, you had his SOS theme. That was a banger. And then now he comes out to the New Day theme, which is, come on, everybody sings that now.
Yep.
I sing SOS in the shower.
If you know. Hey, that was a banger when he was from Jamaica, but you know, he's not.
Heck yeah, he just dropped the accent out of nowhere.
Yeah.
No, that was funny. Dennis, got anything else? Yeah,
actually, I have a matter of fact, I do. And we may have just heard this man's theme for the last time about a little over a week ago, and that's The Undertaker.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I mean, basically, he had so many different variations of the Graveyard Symphony, you know, from his initial to just all this. So I'm just going to loop those all in together because there were slight changes over time.
Right.
Reflected his character. Then he kind of went into the darker Ministry era. You know, the music got a little darker.
Yep.
But then when he switched to the American Badass, we had, you know, American Badass by Kid Rock. Then you had Rollin' by Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
And then when they dropped that, and then you had the, you know, you've done it now. You've made a big mistake. I mean, just, you know, you're going to pay. That's what it's called.
Right.
I mean, just literally, this guy here did not. He's one of the very few guys out there that's had more, you know, a multitude of themes. And I mean, there are people out there that will, but I can't honestly say that he ever really had a bad theme. And that, so yeah, another one's The Undertaker.
Hot take. I wasn't a big fan of Rollin'.
I didn't mind it. I mean, you know, I thought it was good for at the time and stuff, but I mean, it's, you know,
it freaking got Fred Durst in a game. I think I was more upset about that.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So, hey, Jovan, Rollin's not on your workout playlist?
It is not. It's completely gone from there.
Oh.
Wow. So, but yeah.
I'm going to take one more, and it's going to piggyback off of DDJ.
How about it?
The Undertaker's brother, Kane.
Nice.
I was about to say that one, yeah.
Well, were you a fan of the Isaac Yankem dentist drilling?
No, not at all. That's a miss. But I think what was it? As the Fire Burns or whatever. That was a badass entrance song.
Yes.
Yes. It's pop quiz. Do you know which movie soundtrack that was featured on?
Oh God, I know that.
Oh no.
Go ahead. I'm gonna hate myself for this one. Yeah.
Damn it! I knew that.
Damn it! I did know that too.
Sure, you did.
I did
too. You answered.
Hey, DDJ. Retribution.
That one's coming. I deserve that one.
But got any more takes on that one, Jovan?
I'm good on multiples.
Okay. One more thing before we get to the top 5. Now, the names that we've listed, you could argue that and they're still wrestling, some of them, but they are going to go like down to some of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So that's one common theme I'm noticing. Like, if you're a good wrestler or even a great wrestler, you get multiple entrance themes, and even, you know, one might suck or one might not be as best as the other one, you'll still get it over. So that's just one thing I noticed. I don't know if y'all noticed that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it's. I never really thought about it, but you just kind of, you know, hearing you say it, it's like, oh yeah.
Now you got to sing your top 5.
Yeah.
No singing. We'll get copyright strikes or whatever. But hey, you guys want to talk about top fives? Let's get into it. This is going to be our personal top fives of the greatest entrance themes of all time. This is subjective. So if any of the listeners or anybody else, if you want to list your top five, and we will definitely discuss them on next episode of the Junkyard. But which one of you gentlemen wants to kick this off?
DDJ?
All right. Before I actually go into my top five, I want to give a shout out to a couple of people who I think don't get all the nowhere near the credit they deserve when it comes to putting this music together.
Okay.
The first one I want to give a shout out to is the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. The dude is just a genius when it comes to this music.
Right.
And that, so, I mean, it's just, he did a lot of, I think he was more of a lot of behind the scenes in the WWF stuff, but I know he was a lot more involved when he went over with Hogan to WCW,
right.
Helped with a lot of their music. And then I definitely want to mention, because in my opinion, this guy should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And that is one Mr. Jim Johnston.
Agreed.
The dude that is behind so much of the music that a lot of us grew up on. And stuff. I actually had the pleasure of meeting him at the very first Starcast. I sat in on a panel with him. He was being interviewed by Sean Mooney, and he talked to I got to hear a lot of the backstories behind a lot of the songs that we all grew up on. And it was fascinating stuff. And then when I got up to meet him, super nice guy and just extremely humbled by and I think he even said he was blown away by the number of people that came to his panel and stuff. And this was the first time, I think this was the first time he had ever done anything like this when it came to a wrestling convention and stuff. So again, Jim Johnston, he needs to be if there's anyone that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, it's him. Okay. So
can I do an honorable mention real quick?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
I want to throw one in there since, DDJ went with most of the WWE guys. I want to throw a shout out to Mikey Ruckus, is the guy who does the AEW themes, man.
Yes.
The dude kills it.
He does.
Go ahead, DDJ.
All right. So my top five, and again, these are my personal favorites. I'm going to go with number 5, and that is going to be, oh God, I had this, I'll say it, and I'm just trying to think here. Number 5, I'm going to go with, and again, this is a little bit of an unconventional one, and I'm going to go with the Dangerous Alliance theme that was in WCW, and then, dun, 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 and it's just something about that, just and I just think about, when their entrance at War Games, when they're all coming out, getting ready to, fight, going to War Games, and they just come out, and I mean, you got, 4 guys that that are in the Hall of Fame, and the other guy that's not should be. I mean, you've got your Hall of Famers. You got Rick Rude, you got Steve Austin, you got Arn Anderson, you got Larry Zbyszko, and a man that should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, even though he never technically wrestled there, but he should be in there along with Stan Lane. That's beautiful Bobby Eaton. Again, when we did our thing on the Horsemen last week, we talked about other factions. I mentioned my admiration and love for the Dangerous Alliance, so I'm going to go with that. My number 4 theme is going to be, and this is another one that's a little, kind of, and that is actually going to be Bad Street USA. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA.
Yes.
And stuff. I mean, for the Freebirds, I mean, especially for those of you guys that are listening that are big, fans of World Class Championship Wrestling, you heard this song. It was, in fact, I believe it was one of the very first times that a wrestler actually ever did the lyrics to his own song with Michael P.S. Hayes. And it's just, man, it's just such a fun song. And it's just one of those songs that with the advent of the WWE Network and the more I got to see on the Fabulous Freebirds, it's like, man, this is some really, really good stuff. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Dusty Rhodes' American Dream song. I mean, it's just a fun, just blue collar, down to earth song. We did you did the cowbells, it was just one of those ones where, man, you just felt like, just get up and dance,
Yeah.
My number 2 is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Nice.
I mean, just because that glass shattered, it was on. And I mean, just you heard that glass shatter, the instant you heard that, the crowd went crazy. And here came Austin because he knew he was going to kick some ass.
Right.
And my number one, and this is something that is
drum roll.
But my number one theme, my favorite in terms of themes, and this is one that probably a lot of people aren't going to know, but again, this is my top 5. I'm going to go with Dustin Rhodes' WCW theme. Well, they call him the natural.
Nice.
And it's just a fun song because again, you guys know, and pretty much anybody knows me out there knows I'm a huge Dustin Rhodes fan. When it comes to the Rhodes family, he is head and shoulders my favorite. He's been around so long. He's done so many different, he's been around forever and he's still going strong at 50. But just something about that song that's just like, man, it's just, it would get me pumped. And I just recently put it on my phone and I listen to it a lot and it's just something about it, man. But yeah, that's my number one right there.
Beautiful.
All right, Jovan, what you got?
All right, my top 5. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to give it to Zack Ryder's Radio.
Nice.
I love that one. Every time I sing it, it's amazing. Number 4.
I got a few bars of that one.
Huh?
I can hum a few bars for that one. I mean,
no. I don't want us to get sued.
I know. Hey, before you move on, you don't want to mention his other hit, Hosky?
No, we're not doing Hosky. Dishonorable mention to Hosky.
All right, go ahead.
Number 4 is the Cactus Jack theme. I think I'm going to do the WWE one. The early 2000s, just a
oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Number 3. Oh, I don't want to put this low, but we'll do Metalingus Edge's entrance.
Oh, I thought that would have been your number 1.
Yeah, I've been fighting myself, but I think it's a solid 3 for me.
All right.
2 is, not to copy DDJ. 2 was also Stone Cold Steve Austin. Something about that glass break.
Okay.
And number 1 overall. It's not the bird. The number 1 overall for me, I don't know why, but every time I heard it, it just got me pumped, is
the Body
Rob Van Dam, One of a Kind.
That's a good one.
Ooh, that is a good one. All right.
I guess it's my turn now. I will end this segment with my top 5.
They all can't be the Dark Order theme.
It's Brody Lee.
Unfortunately, those do not make the list. I love Dark Order. I support Dark Order. Join Dark Order. Their theme's not that great. Mikey Ruckus, man, give my boys and girls some good music, please. All right. I want to give some honorable mentions, and then I will get on to my personal top 5. Honorable mentions, kind of more recent. Battle Cry from Kenny Omega. I totally rock with that. That is really good. Yes. And Kingdom from Cody Rhodes before Downstate ruined it for me.
Yes.
I got an honorable mention too, but I'll wait till you're done with yours.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
I actually want, and this would be number 6 unless we were doing a top 10.
Yeah.
And that's Diamond Dallas Page's WCW thing. That is basically almost a knockoff of the Nirvana song.
Yep.
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Right.
And a self high five. But literally, that was just like when he came out, it's just like he would come through the crowd. Just that song was like, and it's just, it was just awesome, especially as he rose through the ranks of WCW. So that's my honorable mention right there.
Okay. Since I gave DDJ the chance, Jovan, you got one?
I did. While DDJ was speaking, it popped in my head. Now, honorable mention, place number 6 for mine. I am going to give it to Chris Jericho's Judas.
Okay.
Very interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of repeats on my list and some that you guys might come out of left field. So we're going to start with number 5, and that is the glorious one. The Glorious Domination from Robert Roode. Kind of how my personal 5 will end up is, I think a good entrance theme is like, yes, you got Stone Cold, Undertaker, music, good music and stuff, but that's about it. I want something I can sing to, I can get in the groove with. So that's kind of how mine will round up. So that's why number 5 is Glorious Domination from Robert Roode. Number 4, that would be The Rising Sun, Shinsuke Nakamura, the original.
Nice.
Everybody just sings the oh, like that was really terrible.
Yeah.
We're just you can kill me in the comments for that one. But that is just that is
fix that in post.
No, we'll leave it in. I'll let them hear my horrible singing. It's funny. I used to be in chorus at one time. Now I'm terrible at this.
What did they like have a certain minimum and you just happen to walk on by and like, oh, you'll do?
No, I did it for the pretty ladies.
You did it for the money.
No, I did it for the rock.
Damn, I was just gonna do that too.
But okay, number 3. I had another one, but I kind of fixed it before we started, and that would be I'm Just a Sexy Boy, Shawn Michaels. Seriously, I think everybody sings that when it comes like and there's like I'm a sexy boy, and they just start going. Then of course Kurt parried it. He's just a sexy Kurt.
His version.
So I think that definitely is on the list, my list for sure. Number 2, and it's a more recent one, but I think with my definition of greatest theme songs, greatest entrances of all time, singing, you have to put this on here. And I really highly debated putting it number 1. And that is Judas from Fozzy, Chris Jericho.
Nice.
Everybody sings that. Like almost, even if you're not an AEW fan, I think like the WWE fans, everybody will be singing that before his career is over. And that will go down as one of the greatest themes of all time. That's my hot take.
Hey, Spencer, I got a confession to make on that song.
Yeah.
Literally every time I play it on my Alexa, if I'm doing dishes or cooking in the kitchen, I sing the whole song while I'm
Yes! Like, seriously, when I go to an AEW show or AEW pay-per-view and that comes on, I'll turn on Facebook Live, go in our group and something, and I'll sing it along. I might just be the only one, but man,
no, I did it too when we were at All Out. I was like, forgive the tone deafness, but here we go.
But man, I really wanted to put that number 1. But I think the number 1, and Jovan, I'm really shocked you didn't put this higher. And that's Metalingus from Alter Bridge Edge.
Yes, dude.
It hears the "You Think You Know Me" da, 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 on this day. Like I'm serious. Like seriously, when he came out, like the Royal Rumble, and that music played. Like literally, that went back to my childhood. I'm like, oh my god, I remember why it's so great. Like you sing along to it, you get pumped. I literally just listened to it. I think going in the car this week on the way back from work, I blasted that shit and I enjoyed myself. So Metalingus by Alter Bridge, the Edge theme is my number 1 greatest theme of all time.
Beautiful.
So I got 2 more songs. I just kind of want to throw out honorable mentions too. Like if we were doing a top 10, these would definitely be on here.
Go ahead.
The one that would be is the theme song that Demolition had. You know, here comes the X, and here comes the smash. That one, and then again, this is one that's more of an unconventional one, but I'm a huge fan of this team. You guys, are you both familiar with the team known as the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers?
No.
Well, if you go on YouTube. And I've got it queued up on my phone, but I don't want to but it's basically the song it's a Jimmy Hart song, and it's Jacques Rougeau, aka the Mountie, and his brother Ray. And it's basically these 2 guys, they're from Montreal, and it's just go look it up. It's called I think it's called the All American Boys. In fact, let me see if I can you just keep going and stuff, and we'll if I can pull up some music on here through my phone, and stuff before we wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Well, an honorable mention for mine, I have another one, and I didn't want to mention it because it's kind of a weird off the wall one, and you're going to be like, what, this one?
Yeah.
But for some reason, every time I heard it, it just pumped me up, and that was the Steve Blackman theme. Dude, that one just made you feel like you were badass. You're willing to take on the world.
Yeah,
no, I just wanted you guys. You need to go with it's a fun song and stuff. So, but I'm good now. I'm ready to. I think I'm ready to impart some wisdom. How about you, Giovanni?
I'm ready when you're ready.
Yeah, before we just move on, DDJ just throwing the off the wall and unconventional themes out there. So for all those like us that pick the the ones everybody knows, DDJ hits us with, "Oh, hey, go check this out." So we appreciate you, DDJ, for that.
I got you guys.
Some random Canadians.
Yeah,
Fun Canadians.
Yes, fun Canadians. But yeah, like you guys said, I think it's time to impart some wisdom as we go to class. All right. This week we have been talking about entrance themes, entrances, and the music plays a very important part. Now, the person I am picking, their career is not defined by their music, but sure as hell did help them. And if you guys have been paying attention, you might know where I'm going. But before I say who I'm picking, gentlemen, please reveal your phones. And we have, let's see, Jovan is picking Shawn Michaels, and Dennis is picking Stone Cold Steve Austin. Guys, you've been swerved.
Oh,
you want to know why? Huh?
It's Isaiah Swerve Scott.
We just got Isaiah.
Literally, I don't even know his theme. I just want to ask you one question. Do you think you know me?
Nice.
That is the Rated R Superstar.
All right.
Let me say that right. Hold on. The Rated R Superstar Edge. So,
oh yeah,
gentlemen, that's 1 point for me. But guys, whoever wants to start off, give the listeners and myself some go-to Edge matches, some Adam Copeland Edge matches.
Giovanni, mind if I go first?
Go ahead, DDJ.
And and I'm going to apologize in advance if what I'm about to say steals your thunder, steals a match on your fight.
Here we go.
So going to this one here is like my favorite solo Edge match. And it's because it really showed me a different side of Edge. Like that he's not only but dude, when it came right down to it, he could get hardcore. And I'm going to go with his match against Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22.
Love that match.
I mean, that was the match of that night, and it was one again. It was in Chicago. I didn't go to that, but I watched it on pay-per-view. But man, that just really showed me that Edge was one tough son of a bitch. Yes. I mean, he took shots of barbed wire being raked across his back. And thumbtacks and everything, and then he speared Mick Foley through a flaming table.
The famous scene.
Yeah, and it's just, that's one of those, that's a WrestleMania moment that's going to live on forever. So it just, again, that was WrestleMania 22, Chicago, Rosemont, or Allstate Arena, Rosemont Horizon, whatever you call it, 2006, that hardcore match against Mick Foley, because it really showed me that Edge was more than just a pretty face.
I'm sticking with Edge's WrestleMania moments, DDJ.
All right.
And for this WrestleMania moment, we are going with a triple threat ladder match. Edge and Christian, the Hardys, the Dudleys. This was the iconic Edge spear from the top of the ladder down.
Oh yes.
So good.
This match, is the reason why we ended up getting TLC matches. This match was brutal. They took some hellacious bumps. The Hardys were already known to take big bumps, but everybody involved, dude, just how did they not kill each other in that match? That was amazing.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. If you hadn't picked that was going to be my next one. But again, that was a classic. And again, that's one of that pay-per-view, in my opinion, is the greatest pay-per-view of all time, WrestleMania 17.
WrestleMania 17.
Just another one I'm going to go with. And this one here is kind of one that I alluded to back when we were talking about The Undertaker and stuff. And I mentioned, so I'm going to bring this match up again because it was really, I think not. Actually, you know what? No, I got a different in the series with Edge and The Undertaker. There was a match that they had, I want to say, I think it was 2009. It was a ladder match that they had, and I think Edge had beat The Undertaker, and I think it was a TLC match or something to win the World Heavyweight title. I think it was that Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And that's so because I mean, to get a win over The Undertaker on a pay-per-view is a big enough deal and stuff. So yeah, I would have went with Edge versus Undertaker from WrestleMania 24, but I mentioned that before. So I'm going to go with their ladder match from I think it was for the World Heavyweight title. I think it was 2009 Extreme Rules.
Nice.
Good pick.
I'm going to go with, and if you guys have been listening to the Junkyard long enough, you know I'm a fan of a certain wrestler who's no longer with us, even though he might be a little controversial. Yes. I'm going Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit.
Ooh.
Think that tag titles, was it the SmackDown tag titles?
It was the SmackDowns. It was yes, it was the SmackDown tag titles. I believe it was when there was the finals of that tournament, correct?
Yep, finals of the tournament.
No Mercy 2002, I believe.
There you go.
Yep.
That'll be the match. That's, to me, just everybody in there, and then, dude, it was just, that was the pinnacle of tag team wrestling at its time. That match.
That is an amazing match. I'm gonna go with it, and I don't remember if you brought this up when we were talking about Eddie Guerrero a couple weeks ago, but I'm gonna bring up it was either that or a poll and someone who created in the Pro Wrestling Junkies group. But Edge had a match with Eddie Guerrero. I believe it was on a SmackDown. It was a no DQ match or something. I think they used like ladders and everything, and it's just that was just wow. It was just I think like one of like the first real like matches in my mind that made me think like, you know, Edge is going to make it on his own, because I mean he's taken on a proven, you know, veteran like Eddie Guerrero in a no DQ match, which I think at the time really wasn't Edge wasn't really that kind of wrestler. So so if there's this episode of SmackDown, I believe it was September of 2002, is Edge versus Eddie Guerrero.
So I'm going to keep it on the weekly programming as well. And this match has two people who, you know, once Edge gets in the Hall of Fame, it'll be two Hall of Famers. Hot take, Edge is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Edge is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Is he already in?
Yeah, he went in 2012.
Oh, okay, they must have inducted him right after the neck injury.
They did, yeah. It was that following.
I don't remember that. Is Edge and Christian in together?
Christian's not in.
No.
Okay, so when they bring Edge and Christian in, he'll be a two-time Hall of Famer, like DX and everybody else. That never mind. Let me not get into that rabbit hole. But we're going to an episode of Monday Night Raw. This was during wasn't 06. It may have been like 04, 05 era. You had a street fight with Edge and one Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Whoa.
If you have the WWE Network, I would say to go ahead and pull that up. Look for it. Edge versus Shawn Michaels street fight. It was on Raw. I'm 90% sure it was on Raw.
I believe so, because I think at the time both those guys were Raw guys.
Yes.
So I think we've imparted enough wisdom, Giovanni. How about you?
Honorable mention, Edge versus The Undertaker, where Edge refused to break the streak.
WrestleMania 24.
There you go.
That's a good one.
You know what? I got one more match, and it was another fun one. I thought his ladder match against Christian at, I think it was No Mercy 2001 was really, you know, was a really entertaining match when Edge won back the Intercontinental title after losing it to Christian the month before at Unforgiven. And then it just it was kind of one of those things, you know, they brought it back a little bit of that magic. And then obviously, you know, we've got Giovanni mentioned TLC 2, but we also can throw out TLC 1. We can throw out TLC 3. We can also throw in the triangle ladder match from WrestleMania 16 and stuff. I mean, it's just, there's so much good stuff there with Edge. I thought what turned out to be initially his very last match, you know, against Alberto Del Rio at WrestleMania 27 was, you know, was a decent match. And I mean, it gave Edge that, send off that I think we didn't realize at the time that he was getting. So, but so plenty of good Edge stuff out there, guys. Again, if you've never seen any of these matches, watch them. Let us know what you think. If you've got some other great Edge matches, please share them with us, and like Spencer mentioned, we can mention them on the air on a future episode of the Junkyard.
Because we are Edge heads.
Damn straight. One thing I want to mention before we get off the air is, like Dennis was saying, WrestleMania 27 would have been Edge's match, at the time before he made his comeback, which again led to probably one of the biggest pops of the entire year. And so glad that happened before COVID struck.
Yes.
But his retirement and him coming out, and you didn't know what was happening that Monday Night Raw after him coming, no, I have to retire. The doctor says I can't wrestle anymore. That is literally one of the most emotional things I've ever seen on TV. Yes. I cried. I was so sad. I'm so happy he's back. And, I wish him a speedy recovery, and hopefully he does come back soon because, he still has a lot in the tank. And, I do think, hot take, he's going to be WWE champion one more time.
I'm down for it.
I wouldn't actually mind that myself.
So
because we'll see him more than we saw Brock Lesnar. So
hey, as long as he shows up with the title every week, we're good. Just don't show up like every 4 pay-per-views in a year or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, gentlemen, thank you for imparting some knowledge on myself and then also the listeners.
Are you taking a selfie, Jovan?
I'm actually taking a photo of the Tyson fight for a friend of mine. Damn it, DDJ.
Oh. All right, it looks like you're taking a selfie.
Taking selfies while doing the junkyard.
Right.
Shame.
Junk selfies.
Junk selfies.
Junkies.
Junkies.
Well, I kind of like junk selfies. Hashtag junk selfies. If you got your own junk selfie and you got yourself watching the junkyard, take a selfie of yourself. Hashtag junk selfies.
Yeah.
We'll make you famous.
Yes, and we will share those on the junkyard. That's going to be a new thing that started here. But guys, thank you for joining us for episode 5 of the Junkyard. I had a great time on this one talking about entrance themes and, just singing very terribly tonight. So thank you for joining us tonight and sticking through with us. You can follow us on our social media platforms, the Pro Wrestling Junkies, at PW_Junkies on Twitter, on Instagram, and YouTube.
Point with me.
Giovanni doesn't want to point tonight. He's not up to Fandango tonight. But yeah, guys.
Fandangoing.
Well, they're Fandangoing. I'm trying to get these plugs in. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook group. That's where we are most active right now. Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Junkies /groups. The link is in the bio if I mess that up. You can follow me on my personal Twitter account at @11SC. Giovanni, where can the people find you?
Well, you guys can find me on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page under Jovan Menacho, or if you're so inclined to look at me for Twitter, I am at Giovanni2Hotty.
And I am on Facebook as Dennis Day Jr. Once again, I have a podcast that drops every Monday at midnight. Check it out. What do you say with DDJ? And you can also find me on Twitter at Dennis W. Day JR.
Dennis W. Day JR on Twitter.
Good old JR.
I wasn't given the JR term because of that, so
I know it's just Junior. But hey, everyone, thank you for joining us on this latest episode of the Junkyard. Again, we've talked about Raw, but that'll already happen. Make sure you guys join us for our NXT War Games prediction show coming out Friday night after SmackDown, and join us so we can talk about that. It should be a great show.
It's going to be a banger.
Yep. Yes, sir. Thank you again. Have a great night. Junkies out.